Junior Mastermind starts tonight at 7 on BBC One. Now, big people with a test of their own.
Minehead, at the northernmost point of Exmoor, famous for its rugged cliffs and glorious moorland, its hardy ponies and thousands of red deer, 243 species of bird and an extraordinary species of human, one of whom is going to be crowned Britain's strongest man and win the Citroën Vans Trophy.
This is the third of the heats in a competition that's seen a change of format this year. There are 10 men in each heat. We have 6 already through to the final. The top 3 here will join them, and the last space goes to the highest scoring lucky loser. And the combined weight of this lot is the same as a light aircraft.
Carry and drag.
Down on the beach at Minehead for the start of Heat 3, and the strong men have got a really strong wind to contend with, but in many ways that's the least of their problems.
You need muscle power to carry this 100 kilogram anchor. Then you've got to be delicate, clip it into this chain, and then it's 300 kilograms raw power to the finish line.
Commentary, as ever, comes from Paul Dickinson.
Well, I have to say the atmosphere is rather pensive here today. They almost look as though they are condemned men with a fate of who knows what waiting for them. And Christian Clay, the first we see from Pontypridd, very experienced, as is Adam Townsend from Moulton in Northamptonshire. He's been around a few years. Mick Gosling from Brinsford, the brother to last year's champion. Then Simon Flint of Derbyshire, also a very experienced competitor and big too. And finally Stuart Murray, the second oldest man in this year's competition at 43 from Dumfries in Scotland. As always, Dr. Douglas Edmonds, the referee, and away we go. Gosling in the lead ahead of Simon Flint. On the far side, Christian Clay's got a bit of catching up to do. There is the delicate bit, as Jamie Reeves would say. I'm not sure I'd describe it as delicate. And now brute strength, dragging that chain and anchor through to the finish line. 300 kilograms, 660 pounds, and Adam Townsend is going well. What a surprise. Adam Townsend just finishes, and that is a very good time indeed for Adam Townsend. 32.85, way ahead of anybody else. What a promising start for Adam Townsend, who does a lot of his training with Bill Pittock, a former finalist in Britain's Strongest Man. And Christian Clay is walking off the course. I don't believe it. There's still 20 seconds to go, and Christian Clay has had enough. So the Welshman is off to a very poor start indeed. I hope he hasn't injured himself. Mick Gosling in the centre. He's got less than 2 feet to go. He just can't get that anchor over the line. Stuart Murray nearest the camera, neck and neck with Simon Flint. And there goes the whistle. My goodness, that was an agonising last 25 seconds or so. A cracking start by Adam Townsend, a disappointing start for the rest of them.
Tell us what happened here 3 years ago to you.
This has some bad memories for me. First event, I tripped over the farmer's walk and cut the top of my thumb off. So it knocked me out of the competition. I had to get sewn back on.
Show us your thumb.
Nice little scale all the way down there. So it doesn't hold good memories for me, this place.
That was a pretty scary moment, I remember it.
Yeah. Not half as scary as it was for me.
So you're obviously looking in pretty good shape though.
Hopefully. Just see how it goes. There's 5 more lads to go after this event with my same group, but just come here, do your best, and that's it. My 6th year doing it, so got to qualify for the final sometime, haven't I?
As somebody who has been around the block a bit, you know, what are your thoughts about, as the years go by, about whether you get stronger, whether you get fitter?
I think the whole strongman's changed a bit. When I first started doing it, you were either very fast and explosive or very powerful. Now you've got everybody's fast, everybody's fitter than they were, everybody's a lot stronger. So we're having your different types of strongmen. Most people are all rounders now, so the sport has definitely progressed.
It certainly has over the years. One or two men in this second lineup have certainly changed their training to cope with the demands of Britain's strongest man. This is Martin Campbell, telecoms engineer from Coleraine. Next to him, one of the most experienced men around, 36-year-old Adrian Rollinson from the West Midlands, a former finalist. Then Mark Felix, his first Britain's Strongest Man competition from Blackburn in Lancashire. Brian Turner, streamlined this year, he's lost 4.5 stone. And finally, from Worcester, on the comeback trail, Russ Bradley, a former Britain's Strongest Man finalist. So what a time by Adam Townsend, 32.85 to beat. Can any of them get in amongst the 10 points in this first event? Well, certainly Brian Turner. He certainly looks as though he's benefited from losing all that weight. He was considering a life in professional rugby, but he's sticking with strongman, and Adrian Rollinson is going well on the far side. So is Mark Felix. Brian Turner slowing down just a little bit. Mark Felix, the first timer, is actually going ahead of Adrian Rollinson. This could be a big surprise. It's neck and neck. And Brian Turner's down on the deck, so is Mark Felix. Has he finished, though? I'm not sure he has. Although he has been given a time, 36.54. Adrian Rollinson, 39.37. Neither of them faster than Adam Townsend. Martin Campbell struggling, as is Russ Bradley. Bradley's had a few problems over the last couple of years. He's really only just getting back into strongman competition now. And Martin Campbell's come to a grinding halt on the far side. Russ Bradley sitting down on the deck. Both those guys totally exhausted. 3 seconds to go and it's all over. There goes the whistle. So confirmation, a brilliant win for Adam Townsend. 32.85 and a big surprise.
Well, for your first event in Britain's Strongest Man, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it was very good for me. I never done this training before, but this time worked out pretty fine. Just give me a second.
Aid, you're in the lead, and then suddenly you just came past you.
I actually pulled the chain on my toe. I really gripped myself, like, and I should even go past that. Obviously, just started to catch him up there, like, you know. So, never mind, I'm happy with that.
You had an interesting technique as well compared to everybody else, that you actually just dropped the anchor on the chain. You didn't try and hook it up. Is that something you'd sort of planned in advance?
Well, I had tried it in practice, and I looked at one or two that was dropping it on, and I thought, well, obviously if you drop it on and you knock it over, you're wasting valuable seconds, so I thought maybe I might waste a second or two. So we paid off.
Well, proof positive of just how hard an event that was. Just 4 of our strongmen managing to complete the course. So a real mixture of the old and the new to the 4 in that opening event. Adrian Rollinson is a real veteran of strongman. Adam Townsend is approaching that stage. But Mark Felix, the new kid on the block, could well be the man to watch most closely. Now, not too many of these strongmen work in flower shops.
My job is a joiner, carpenter, woven, kit houses, kitchens, extensions. This is a kit house we started 2 weeks ago. All the sections were made at the workshop, and then we took 2 days to put all the sides up, 2 days to put the roof on. The lifting a lot of these sections are very heavy, very awkward, so it helps to be quite strong to lift these. When this kit got delivered 2 weeks ago, myself and Callum lifted it off the lorry, and it was quite back-breaking work. That's not too bad actually, because we work from 8 till 5, sometimes a bit overtime at night. But as I train every second night, there's plenty of time in the evening to fit in the strongman training. And at weekends I usually travel to Glenrothes to train with the boys. And I think the chance of getting the Worlds this year are very slim for me. Unfortunately, age is not on my side this year, and there's a lot of younger guys in my heat, but I'll still give them a run for their money and we'll see what happens.
Train pull.
Over the years, our strongmen have pulled all sorts of things. Trucks, cars, boats, even planes. This time, though, they've got to make sure they don't go off the rails.
We've got 4 carriages and a total weight of 40 tonnes. We're using a ladder system to pull the train to the finish line, 20 metres. And the last thing you want to do is make a mistake with this behind you.
Well, that's what lies in wait for Welshman Christian Clay, the quiet man of Welsh powerlifting. Once got stuck in a bath, believe it or not. I bet it was a pretty small one. He's a big, tall fellow, 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs over 20 stone in weight. And a great credit to his grandfather, John, who I know has coached him for many, many years. Now, to get this 40-ton beast moving, you've got to be very strong, but then you've got to keep it going for 20 metres. Now, I don't suppose anybody here at the Minehead station has even contemplated a single man ever doing something like this, let alone seeing it. But Christian is on his way. He's got to keep his hips and bottom low to drive through the length of that cord which is attaching him to the train, and you've got to keep the pressure on. This is where it really begins to hurt. Up to 15 metres now, 5 metres to go. Not only has he got to go beyond the finish line, the wheels of the train have got to get there too. Just slowing up a little bit. It must be agony over the last couple of metres. 50.02 for Christian Clay. That's a good target. I don't think it's unbeatable, but a pretty solid start for Christian Clay. He certainly hasn't got the energy to smile, let alone get up. You've got to stay low to go fast in the train pull. Russ Bradley from Worcester. He's 38 years old now, but I remember him many years ago now when he first entered Britain's Strongest Man. And everybody thought, wow, this guy has really got some potential. Best Film Zulu, that is a marathon film to watch. I don't think he's going to spend too much time here pulling on this train. He's got 50.02 to beat by Christian Clay. Ross Bradley needs good points, rather like Christian did. So away we go. If you've been missing from Strongman for a few years, it's very hard to get back into it. But Russ Bradley's done well, wearing climbing boots just to get a bit of extra purchase on those rungs. Well coordinated. It's not just the legs, it's arms as well. So the grip is important, the stride length is important, your position is important, and then of course strength and endurance play their part. Coming up to 15 metres, a bit of a slip there. But he is ahead of schedule in terms of Christian Clay's time, 50.02 to beat. Now, can he set a good time? Just over 40 seconds. Yes, he has. 42.98. That will certainly take a bit of beating. So Russ Bradley is back, and he's looking good. Needs a bit of a rest now before the next event.
I can still mix it with the best. Like I said, it's you can't be out for 2-3 years and come back and expect to, you know, start ringing big bells. But I'm very happy with that one. This morning was a bad result for me this morning. The knee's still a bit weak, the leg's still a bit weak. But on the whole, I might balance it up a bit more. But I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
Well, I sincerely hope not. Now it's Simon Flint. This fellow would dearly love to make the final. Now that's interesting. He's got one of those nose bands on. We'll see that in just a moment. Inspiration, Jeff Capes. Good old mate of mine was Jeffrey. British and Commonwealth record holder for the shot put and also the world's strongest man. I wonder if Simon Flint could aspire to the heights that Jeffrey achieved. Now that's interesting. He's pushing with both feet at one point, not one, but that was really just to get the train going. Now I was mentioning right at the beginning about this nose clip. It's the sort of thing that Paula Radcliffe wears when she's running marathons. Apparently it helps get more air in through the nostrils. Now then, this is a quick time by Simon Flint. Look at the pace he's moving at. Extraordinary. He seems to be staving off any suggestion that he's getting tired. He's powering his way through the line, and this is going to be quick. Under 40 seconds maybe, yes! 38.57. He's totally exhausted, but what an effort from Simon Flint. He's absolutely staggering around at the moment. He put everything into that. And the PA announcer says he's our new leader. Boy, oh boy, he certainly is.
Where did that come from?
Well, from the poor performance in the last event, I've had to get everything now. And everyone gave me advice on the first couple of steps, push it and push it. So I did that. Just kept my head down and pumped to the end. Like. I passed the line, and my legs just went like jelly then. So I tried to keep it going to get the train past. Then when he blew that whistle, I was glad.
And that will obviously put you back in contention after the first event.
Hopefully. Oh, to knock me back up the ladder a bit, yeah.
How tough is this heat, do you think?
They're all tough. This is my 4th year now, and everyone's getting... The level's gone up, and everybody's gone up, so it's getting harder every year, which I think is better, because it's getting us further up towards the world, so we all get into standards of the world now.
Next up, Stuart Murray, the most experienced man here, that's for sure. He's competed for many, many years on the Scottish circuit and on the world stage as well. We saw what he does for a living a little earlier. He's a joiner.
Are you ready?
Now we'll see what he does as a strongman. And away we go. It really was an outstanding time by Simon Flint, 38.57 to beat. And I just fear that Stuart may be a little bit on the short side and the light side for this event. He's well under 20 stones body weight. He's only about 5 feet 8 inches tall, and you need long levers for this event. He's got tremendous power in those arms. Just look at that profile there. Enormous biceps and triceps, massive shoulders, and actually moving that train quite well. But we're approaching the time now that Simon Flint set, and we've still got a few meters to go. He's now chasing Russ Bradley's time of 42.98. That has gone. And there goes the whistle. Stuart Murray, 44.42 seconds. He's in 3rd place for the time being, but there's still some very good competitors to come.
It took Martin Campbell 11 seconds longer to get to the end of the line. He was then followed by Mick Gosling, who's the brother of the reigning champion Richard, 46.50 for Mick. After him came Brian Turner, just a little bit slower, 48.54. And disappointingly for Mark Felix, who performed so well in the first event, his time was 50.37.
So, nobody getting close to that time by Simon Flint, who's still in the lead. I wonder if Ade Rollinson can. He's certainly one of the biggest guys here. And boy, does he look serious. Ade Rollinson, certainly a massive guy, 64 inches around the chest. I wouldn't like to have to go shopping for a shirt for him. So, the man from the West Midlands, very experienced. He's competed in World's Strongest Man in the past. Not the most graceful of competitors, I have to say, but if he does well in this, you might see him do his piece de resistance. He does the splits, and he does it well. He's staying low, and that's good. He's showing good form. He's done a lot of endurance work recently, I know that. 20 seconds gone. And there's his wife, Helen, and sons, Tom and Jack, cheering him on. He surely can hear them, urging him on, faster and faster towards the line. Come on, Dad. Now then, he's got to keep it going. He's slowing down just a little bit. It's so close. It's outside the time. 39.22. Simon Flint is still in the lead. Well, a good atmosphere, a good response for Ade Rollinson, but not quite fast enough.
I was watching your kids during that run of yours there. They're so proud of you, aren't they?
I am, yeah. I am, yeah. Good lads. I am, yeah.
Are they going to follow in your footsteps?
It's up to themselves. I'm a bit young yet, like, you know, so... Maybe.
What did you make of that pull?
Not too bad. I got a little slip in the middle. It might have cost me a second, but I can't grumble with that. Not bad. It's under 40 seconds, so not bad.
It's very, very good indeed, and that's the target that Adam Townsend has to try and achieve now, the last competitor.
Adam Townsend.
He's very deceptive, Adam. He's not a massive guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he's so strong. Tell you what, I bet he's the strongest staff nurse in the world, that's for sure. So Adam Townsend trying to go for this target of Simon Flint, 38.57. Away we go. He won the first event, that was a surprise. If he wins this one too, that will be an even bigger surprise. It's body weight that counts for a lot here. and he's certainly not the heaviest man in this competition. He's only 20 stones in weight. I mean, that is incredible. But so strong. He's trained with Bill Piddock an awful lot over the years. He stuck with his training. He stayed faithful to the training regimes and tried to refine them and try to get a lot fitter. And that is what this particular event is all about. Coming up to the finish and looking good. But I can tell you Simon Flint has won it. Adrian Rollinson is definitely in second place. Can he get third? 41.78. Yes, he can. So he's still in the lead after 2 events. Adam Townsend leads by a single point from Ade Rollinson. That is exceptional by Adam Townsend.
Well, a good win for Simon Flint, who beat Adrian Rollinson by just over half a second. You have a feeling this is going to be the toughest heat of them all, because all the way down to Russ Bradley, 8 men in contention for 3 places.
The new points and qualification system means that one bad event can really ruin your chances, and Mark Felix certainly hit the buffers there. Behind him, some big names are off the pace, but they could still mount a challenge.
Now, if you think your weekly shop is big,
Avocado dip with green pesto chutney. Nah. Oh, can't forget my 3-metre books. English don't know about these. Afternoon, dear.
so don't forget, if you ever need a man to carry your shopping home, you know who to call.
Deadlift.
There's been a port in Minehead since the Doomsday Book, and this stone jetty dates back to 1628. But I guarantee no cargo on this scale has ever landed on the quayside before.
This is a big task. It's the deadlift. It starts off at 230 and finishes at 330 kilograms. That's 727 pounds. It's all about static strength, and you either lift it or you don't.
Well, Mark Felix has to lift it. He had a torrid time in the train pool. He now needs to turn things around very rapidly to regain valuable points and climb up the leaderboard. Well, Mark Felix is a massive guy, and his uncle Robert, the strongest man in Grenada a few years ago. That's what he's got to live up to. So, the first barrel weighs in at 230 kilograms in that basket. Another one is added to make it 250, and he's looking better. This is a far more confident performance from Mark Felix. I'll tell you what though, when you're a tall man like Mark Felix is, he's well over 6 feet tall, it makes it all the more difficult. He must have an incredibly strong back. 2 more lifts to go. Nobody so far this year in Britain's Strongest Man has done all 7 lifts. Now, can Mark Felix do it? Yes, he can. Remarkable. That is a massive turnaround of fortunes for Mark Felix. He didn't even realise he'd finished. His time, 36.65, just in case somebody else equalled the challenge of lifting it 7 times.
That was almost showing off.
Oh, yeah, deadlift. I'm not going to get back in it with the deadlift because I'm very good at it.
And the last one, how was that? Was that difficult at all?
No, it was okay. Could I do it some more, but I don't want to show off.
Because this group is very, very tight, isn't it?
To me, this group is the toughest one. Yeah, so I'm looking to build back with some points.
And why do you say it's the toughest? What is it, do you think?
Because all those guys are very good competitors. They've been in it a lot longer than me. They're very experienced, so I'm only been doing it 18 months now, but I'm getting there.
Next up is Scotsman Brian Turner. I have to say I'm very impressed with the way that Brian Turner has lost so much weight this year. He looks leaner, he looks tougher, he looks so much fitter. 4 stones in 1 year. That's quite a target for anybody. I'm also surprised with the fact he's only got 11 points at the moment. Earlier on this year, he was runner-up in Scotland's Strongest Man. So the first lift out of the way. This is 250 kilos. You know, you just say these words like 300 kilos, 350, but it is absolutely monstrous in terms of the amount of weight these guys can lift. 4 lifts, 285 kilos. More and more weight being lifted, more and more being added. Going for the target set by Mark Felix. This is lift number 6. There's Jamie Barr, one of his mentors, former Scotland's strongest man, a bit more chalk on the hands. He's running out of time in terms of going after Mark Felix. So Felix still in first place, but this to draw level in terms of the number of lifts. And that was absolutely immovable. 330 kilos, but for the time being, Brian Turner is in second place. Good effort. And moving in the right direction too.
Happy with that? No, I should have got all of them. In training I was doing 350, so with a hamstring injury it's acceptable. But I've got a press this afternoon, it's a good event for me, so make points up on day 2.
How do you view this whole group?
I think it's the hardest group in the whole competition. A lot of good guys in it. Adam Townsend's done really well. So a lot of surprises.
And the whole way that the format's changed now means you've got to try and score in every single round, haven't you?
That's it. I think if you count the top 5 in any event, you're going to struggle to make the final.
So how do you view your prospects at the moment?
I'll make the final.
Confident?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't say...
Hamstring injury or no, I'll be there.
This group does now seem to be splitting in 2, those that might and those that probably won't. Martin Campbell, 5 lifts, 26.71. He was followed by Christian Clay, and the Welshman lifted 4 times, 22.87 was his time. Only a couple of years ago, Mick Gosling was in the world's strongest man competition. 4 lifts for him, 22.89 the time. Then came Stuart Murray, the Scot, with 5 lifts, 26.74 seconds. And Russ Bradley, 4 lifts, 24.68, but still more to go.
And so it's still that remarkable performance by Mark Felix that everybody else has to try and beat. And this time it's Adam Townsend, the overall leader by 1 point. Obviously a very confident lifter. This is the sort of exercise that these guys have done in the gym for many, many years. Deadlift is part of powerlifting. The other 2 lifts are bench press and squat. And deadlift is a real powerful lift, where the legs and back are used in unison. The arm's really just a connection between the rest of the body and the bar. You've still got to have very powerful shoulders to do it. So coming up now for 6 lifts. If Adam Townsend can get this one, he could stay in the lead after this 3rd event. Still 2 events to go before we find out who's in the final, and Townsend has had enough. 5 lifts in 29.05. Oh, he's going to have a go again. He's just getting some chalk on the hands. He's still got time, whacking himself over the head to say, come on, you can do this. It would be a massive effort to do it. 300 kilos he's lifted, and that is enough. So Adam Townsend stays in contention, but will he still be in the lead after this event? We'll have to wait and see. Ade Rollinson giving us the eye of the tiger. He moves into position. I tell you what, he looks very, very serious. This is a guy who's got one of the greatest senses of humour I've ever seen in strongmen. He's a lovely, lovely chap, but when he gets in competitive mode, he blocks everything else out. That is number 1. Now then, time could be a factor here. Remember, if anybody here ends up with the same number of lifts as anybody else, it's all on the clock. And Ade Rollinson is going like a train. Come on, Dad, says Tom and Jack, and wife Helen once again. Great supporters of Adrian. Oh, he's slowing down a little bit, but that is 5, the same as Adam Townsend. And I can tell you he's about 4 seconds faster than Adam Townsend, now trying to get 6 on the board. This guy does a lot of running, a lot of swimming to stay fit, but obviously on this occasion, fitness wasn't a factor, it was just strength that let him down. He ends up in 3rd place with 1 competitor left to go, and that is Simon Flint. Tremendous effort by Rollinson. And here goes Simon Flint. Very, very concentrated in terms of his approach to the bar. The calm before the storm. He wants this final place. Only the top 3 qualify for the final. There's still 2 events to go, of course, and a lot can happen. But you heard what Jamie Rees said right at the beginning of the programme. It's consistency that will get you through to the final, and that's what every competitor has been emphasising all the way through this year's Britain's Strongest Man. Well, Flint is not hanging about. That is for the next target, 315 kilos. And he's got it. Number 6. A little bit more chalk on the hands. That really does help in terms of grip. Now, when fatigue starts setting in, that's when you know you've got a good competitor on your hands. When you react just like Simon Flint did there. That was a gutsy effort. 6 lift. It's slightly slower than Brian Turner, but he can go ahead of Turner if he can get number 7. I'll tell you for nothing, Mark Felix has definitely won this, and Simon Flint will have come in 3rd place, and that means he's drawn level on points with Adam Townsend, and we definitely have a new leader.
How do you assess things after 3 events?
The train pool pulled me back very well yesterday, and this is more of a banker event for me, really. So if I come in the top 3, I knew I'd still stay in the top 3 overall, so fingers crossed, 2 events left. I'm looking good this year.
I was going to ask you, because it's very, very tight, and because there's, 10 points at stake in each event, you must be looking over your shoulder the whole time.
Yeah, you can't let yourself slip, because every heat's that hard this year. Any one of the athletes could go through, because they're all that top quality.
A fair assessment of the situation, but a great result for Mark Felix, the only man to manage 7 lifts. Turner and Flint level on 6 apiece. And how's that for a congested leaderboard? Just 8 points separating 6 men.
Well, this really must be the most exciting heat in the history of Britain's Strongest Man. Even Stuart Murray in 6th place is in with a good chance of qualification for the final. The slightest slip-up now in the last 2 events will mean the difference between making it through and going home empty-handed. There's 5 of you within 5 points at the top.
Yeah.
So how do you view that?
Well, basically I've got to go all out for the next event, and obviously come midway on the last event, so hopefully keep my fingers crossed.
So tell us, when you were at school, what sports were you into in a big way?
Coming from Grenada is obviously cricket.
So what was it that made you think, I'll give strongman a go?
Well, I always been watching it on television, and I always say I could do that. And then I met Mick Gosling, and he told me I should really get into it because I have a natural ability. I'd only been doing it 18 months, and then I just done so well so far.
What is it about the world of strongman that you like?
I just like throwing weight around, just pulling it. The muscles feels for it, so I just give it. I like to hit the heavy stuff.
What ambitions do you have in strongman?
I could be British Strongest Man this year.
This year? Feeling that good?
I'm feeling that good. Yeah.
Status Quo played some of their very first ever concerts here at Butlins in Minehead. More recently, the likes of Atomic Kitten, the Sugar Babes and Will Young have appeared on stage. But stand by now for the real monsters of rock. For those about to lift, we salute you.
Overhead press.
This next event is like lifting a motorcycle over your head as many times as you can in 75 seconds. But it's not just about shoulder power, it's about body stability as well, because these safes are going to swing all over the place.
So our first 2 competitors, Martin Campbell, way down the list at the moment. Only 10 points scored so far, so eager to impress here, as is Christian Clay. Been around for quite a few years, has Christian, yet to really make his mark in strongman, although he has done that in powerlifting. So we'll get a very good idea just how difficult this event is in just a few moments' time. Those weights will rattle around all over the place. Good effort by Christian Clay. Oh my goodness! Campbell dropped it on his nose. Almost knocked himself out there. Clay is going pretty well, but poor old Martin Campbell. That's not going to help him at all. He's drawn blood. I just wonder whether he's going to need some stitches in his nose. But he still battles on. He's been given one lift. And that is a real knockout punch for Martin Campbell. Goodness only knows how he's going here. How on earth can he keep your concentration? Christian Clay is up to 5. I'm sure he'll forgive me for ignoring him while he has got up to 5 and now 6. But all the drama was going on the other side with Martin Campbell. That's a good effort by Christian Clay. And I'm sure the applause will come for Martin Campbell. A little bit of sympathy as well. I think Christian Clay's going to score well with that total of 6. Come on now, Campbell, just one more. Everybody rooting for him. And Clay almost knocked himself out as well. Just being helped to his feet there by Gregor Edmonds, a former finalist in The World's Strongest Man. What a bit of drama. Look at this. Martin Campbell up and down, almost flat out.
A double flip with a somersault at the end.
Oh, a good one that one was, wasn't it? Lost the balance a little bit there.
Happy with the total there?
Yeah, more than happy. That's not a bad total. But I think he'll be surpassed by the others.
Well, we've been told by the doctors that Martin Campbell is okay. Thank goodness for that. Next up on the stage, we have 2 Scotsmen. Stuart Murray, Mr. Muscles. He's absolutely huge in terms of his muscle definition. And Brian Turner, who told us he will make it through to the final. So this really has got to be a turning point in the competition for Turner. He's lying in 5th place overall. Away we go. Brian Turner away to a very fast start. Doesn't bother putting it down on the ground. Oh, Brian Turner's going so well. And Stuart Murray, I actually thought Murray would be excellent at this. He's just struggling a wee bit. Look at the size of his triceps and biceps. And Turner has stopped for the time being on 6. But I'm sure he'll get going once again. Murray, was he given 2? No, he wasn't. He's still on just that single lift. Turner on 7, so goes into the lead, ahead of Christian Clay. Now, the biggest total we've had in this year's competition, in this event so far, Stumpy Rains from Barnsley in Yorkshire got 13. That was an unbelievable effort. Brian Turner is now on 9. This is good for Brian Turner, so increasing in confidence all the time. And who knows, he may be heading towards the final. If he scores well here and in the last event, he may make it. But Stuart Murray is having all sorts of problems. Turner on 10. Once more, he's got the time to do it. Is this number 11? Yes, it is. Absolutely fabulous. And Stuart Murray disconsolate, only achieving 1 repetition. Brian Turner, I think he enjoyed that one. And so did the crowd.
So what were you saying at the end there?
Lala Power. My nickname's Lala, and that's an ongoing joke in Scotland, so...
Jock power as well?
Yeah, well, I suppose so. I was going to do 12, but 11's good.
Is that going to win it?
Yeah. And that'll be in the final, don't you?
Well, we've still got to wait and see whether he will be in the final. But certainly, as Mark Felix and Adrian Rollerson approach the apparatus, we know that Brian Turner has produced a massive total, 11 to beat to win this event. And they do say that confidence is a huge part of human performance. No doubt about it at the moment. Brian Turner is the man with oodles of confidence. Adrian Rollerson gets that one overhead. It weighs 110 kilograms, this apparatus, and at the moment he's making it look easy. 3 for Rollinson. 1 for Felix. Is that number 2? No, it's not. He's having a real problem here. I don't know what's wrong. Just wants to get it back onto the platform. Rollinson going well. He's on 6, and that means he draws level with Christian Clay. Mark Felix, well, he wants to become Britain's strongest man, but he won't do it at this rate. He needs a much, much better performance. I think, though, Mark Felix is a name for the future. Rollinson going well. He's on 7. And that puts him clear in 2nd place behind Brian Turner. Going for number 8 on the far side. Has he been given it? Yes, he has. Felix on 3, and still no way forward for Mark Felix. Adrian Rollinson, big breaths there. Tries to force it up with his legs. Mark Felix, I'm actually surprised he hasn't done more than 3. Rollinson tries desperately to get number 9. He's secure in second place. These are the last 2 competitors. Almost goes flat on his back, just like Christian Clay. A little chuckle from Adrian Rollinson. Very good points indeed for the guy from the West Midlands. And Mark Felix a little disappointed, I fear.
Did you plan the somersault at the end?
I did. It's just so awkward. I mean, nearly all of us can press more than that. It's just so awkward. The swing just takes you off balance. And I think with Brian, he got it just right. A fair play to him.
How awkward was it for you, Mark?
It was very awkward. I had to go down too low to really get it up. It's very awkward for me. It's like, based on how the bar set is more for short people, not for tall people like me. So I had to go too far down to come up.
But it means that you're just about in the final 8, so that's, you know, a nice position to be in.
Happy days, yeah. Happy days. Right.
And you are fighting in there with so many other guys there.
I'm fighting in there, but tomorrow is going to be a better event for me.
He'll do it. I'll roll the fight for the world.
I'm going all the way, yeah.
A virtuoso performance by Brian Turner there with 11 repetitions. Well done to Adrian Rollinson with 8. That just about means that he's through to the final. But what about the rest? They're left hanging on tenterhooks.
The new qualification system of 3 groups of 10 men fully vindicated here because there are 4 guys right in contention alongside Adrian Rollinson for the final.
And don't forget Mick Gosling. He's keeping his head above water.
I think it's nearly 4 years since I've been here now. You can't build them quick enough. We could have, you know, get them at the factory 1 a week, really. They usually take about 4 to 4.5 weeks.
Hey, I'm using that. Let me check with Mickey out. It's a good job, he's a nice bloke. Yes, he's killing you.
I do get that satisfaction when you sit there on the floor, then you know, you see on the back of a wagon when they finish. So it's good that way. It's a big call for them. You know, a lot of money as well. I think I could afford one. They're actually quite supportive. You know, he lets me have time off work for training. You know, sometimes it's probably hard for him, but you know, he lets me have the time off, so I can't complain at all. Yeah, so I've been training for it. I mean, I've had a few injuries along the way, but that's just one of the parts of strongman. But I think I can win it. At the end of the day, I think I can beat my little brother as well.
Well, back at the harbour, it's bitingly cold, but the heat is on.
Carry and walk.
So 4 men with everything to play for. Brian, how are you approaching this?
All out.
Simple as that. Simon?
150%.
Mark?
Very positive.
Adam?
Flat out.
And the thing that's going to separate them is a 100 kilogram anchor carry, 20 metres, and then it's back for these. A combined weight of 320 kilograms, that's over 700 pounds. This is all about brute strength.
It certainly is, and Mick Gosling has got that in abundance. But even if he does well, I fear he's going to have to rely on poor performances by the rest to get through to the final. Mark Felix has got a real chance in his first appearance in a Britain's Strongest Man competition. Tremendous potential.
Ready.
Douglas Edmonds gets this underway. Conditions a little bit on the chilly side now, but the competition is red hot. Felix getting away well. They've got to drop it over that far white line. No complacency here at all. It is absolutely eyeballs out. Now, what sort of grips have these guys got? Gosling going well. Look at the determination. He's going to go past Felix. My goodness, that is a quick time. Mick Gosling, 23.78. Mark Felix, 25.18. Richard Gosling, Mark's brother, said, yeah, you're number 1 at the moment. That was fantastic, and now he's just got to sit back and wait to see what everybody else does.
England, Simon Flint.
Simon Flint, 25.5 points at the moment. Dead level with Adam Townsend. But I have to say, if it comes down to count back, Adam Townsend has won 1 event. So away we go. What a performance by Mick Gosling to set the standard. He'll be watching to see how well these guys do, and if any of them get close to him, I fear Mick Gosling's chances of making it through to the final will have gone, and both men are going pretty well at the moment. Now Townsend head-to-head with Flint. Dead level on points. Flint is taking very, very small steps, and Adam Townsend is going well. Townsend comes through. He's got a chance of making it through to the final now. It's not quite as fast as Mark Felix, though. 26.57. Simon Flint, 31.28. What a final event this is proving to be. Adrian Rollinson, talk about looking pensive. My goodness. Brian Turner twitching. Just breathing in, breathing heavily, almost sweating up like a horse at the Grand National. Adi Rollinson just clenches his fist. Both of them can see a place in the final, but it all depends on this event. Rollinson with Brian Turner. It's Rollinson who's in the lead overall at the moment, 3 points ahead of Brian Turner. Oh, Brian Turner's going like a steam train, just like the one they pulled earlier. Brian Turner's really come into his own over the last couple of events. And if he goes well here, he could win this event and win the heat and find a place in the final. That is outstanding. Ade Rollinson has done enough as well, I think. Brian Turner is ecstatic, and I think Mark Felix has made it too.
Two happy guys. How happy are you?
Delighted, as you've probably seen. It's been a long time coming last year. Pipped at the post with an injury, but lost a lot of weight for last year, trained hard. A lot of support from my wife and my daughter, so delighted.
You were really going for it there, weren't you?
I had to go for it. The group was very, very tight. I said that from the start. A few surprises in the group, a lot of points up for grabs, so you can't afford to relax in any event. It's all out every event. But I told you I would do it, and I'm there.
And you told us you were going to do it as well, and you've done it, so well done.
I tell you I'm going to do it. I start positive, I finish positive. There was no doubt in my mind whatsoever. You know, I had to do that for my wife. It's very important.
How much did it help you going against Mick Gosling, who's so good at this?
He helped me very well going with Mick Gosling, because almost every competition we in together, we always up against each other in the farmer's walk. It's either he win or I win, one of the two.
Well, Mick Gosling's speciality gives him a consolation victory at the end there, but Mark Felix in third place, good enough to assure his place in the final. And bad luck and sympathy there to Adam Townsend and Simon Flint, just squeezed out at the end.
There's obviously a huge link between the sport of strongman and the Highland Games, but no Scots won this for years. Is Brian the man?
No, I don't think so. He's a little inexperienced and he's lacking in height.
OK, simple as that. What about Mark Felix then? Almost no experience, but he's talking a really good game.
Well, Mark Felix has got all the tools to win Britain's strongest man, but I think when push comes to shove, no, he can't win.
So that completes the lineup for this year's Citroën Bands Trophy. Turner, Rollinson and Felix make it 9, and Paul Porteous makes it 10, the lucky loser from Heat 1.
Well, guys, fantastic effort. Congratulations on getting through to the final.
John, never mind that. Where's the Wurzels?
Here's some of Britain's strongest men.
Where be it Blackbird too? I know where he be. He be up yon Wurzel tree and I be after he. Now I sees he and he sees I. Where live I on getting? With a great big stick I'll knock him down. Blackbird I'll have he. Howdy father! Alright! All me life I'm on the farm, working for me keep. Tending pigs and chickens, and the cows and sheep. But everywhere I'm working, there's one who always mocks me. He's hiding somewhere in the trees. Blackbird, I'll have thee. Where be it?
But today we got Brian. La La, they call him. And of course there's Adrian, a little bit of that Birmingham magic. And Mark, he's a great Bob Marley fan, I'll tell you.
With a great big stick, I'll knock him down. Blackbird, I'll have thee. Howdy, father! All right!
They're not big, but they are clever.
Konnichiwa, watashi wa Bartlett desu.
Over 1 week, we'll find out who's the smartest of all.
Totally don't fancy yourself in a crinoline dress or something?
No, because that was Victorian times.
Junior Mastermind starts tonight at 7 on BBC One.
Red Metcalf's here. They're hunting a vicious murderer. What links the victims?
9 out of the 21 he operated on last month died.
Now, buddy, you two, have you thought of that?
2 murders in less than 6 hours.
Suppose it's one of us next.
You are dangerous, completely insane. Get her out of here!
We have to be able to depend on each other.
Every time we think we have a suspect, they're killed.
Have you any idea what you're doing?
I want to know what you're covering up.
He was in our care, and we failed him.
Ken Stott is back. Messiah, released tonight at 9 on BBC One.
The waiting is over. I really need your help, mate.
We need to form a partnership. An appeal for transatlantic cooperation. An alliance between equals.
The international fight against terrorism in a major new drama. The Grid, coming soon to BBC Two.
Here on BBC One now, the news with Sean Williams.
The British Olympic team comes home to a hero's welcome. The team fly in from Athens after their best performance in 20 years. New claims of attacks by armed militia in Sudan as a UN deadline expires. 2 French journalists held in Iraq. France won't bow to kidnappers' demands. And Sir Bobby Robson is sacked as Newcastle manager for not winning enough games. Good evening. The British Olympic team has flown home from Athens to cheers and a sea of Union flags after their best performance at a Games in 2 decades. The athletes returned to Gatwick with what the chief executive of the Olympic Association said were a bucket load of medals. He called it mission accomplished. Adam Parsons is at Gatwick now. Adam.
Yes, well, this is where the reception for Team GB was held. The athletes have now drifted off towards their homes to get a well-earned rest. Believe it or not, many of them didn't know what sort of welcome they were going to get when they returned to Britain. In the end, it was rapturous. Now, this report does contain flash photography. Britain's Olympic team arriving back on home soil. Athletes who've been away for weeks or months, but who've returned with a very precious cargo. Leaving this plane a team that's won 30 Olympic medals, 9 of them gold. Some of these competitors are suddenly among Britain's best-known sports stars. It's only now that these athletes are realising the magnitude of what they've achieved. In the Olympic Village in Athens, it's very easy to underestimate the power of victory. But now they're about to walk into a sea of celebration and goodwill. Because if the welcome on the tarmac had been warm, in the terminal, it was noisy, passionate and euphoric. And at the heart of it, Kelly Holmes, the first British athlete to win the 8 and 1500 metre double for nearly a century. Her mother, the first person to greet the new double champion. Holmes and her teammates rescued Britain's Olympics from a desperately slow start. But by the end, the medals seemed to be cascading in.
The medal table, of course, speaks for itself. 10th in the overall medal table, 9 gold medals,